Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I'm going to be talking about Black Scorpion, the TV series. So in 1995, Roger Corman produced a schlocky superhero movie called Black Scorpion, and I discussed that film in my last video, as well as briefly touching on its disappointing 1997 sequel. But that sequel wasn't the end for the leather-clad vigilante and her scorpion sting taser punch, because in 2001 she made the move to the small screen. The TV show is set a short time after Black Scorpion 2 Aftershock, and Darcy Walker is back on the police force while also waging her costume battle against crime in her off-duty hours. She must be very tired. And she frequently, to be fair, dons the Black Scorpion costume in her on-duty hours too, it seems, as she does it in the middle of what is supposed to be police work on a regular basis. Somehow, no one ever notices this, not even the new partner with whom she is reluctantly paired. You'd think that that guy, at least, would wonder how it is that Black Scorpion's always on the scene of his cases and Darcy is nowhere to be found. In any case, for 22 episodes, Darcy / the Black Scorpion will do battle with the various kooky characters who emerge to menace the city. The only weapons in her arsenal: her beauty, her brains, her combat training, her electronic punch, a magical transforming car, the host of astonishingly plot-convenient weapons that will be given to her by her super genius buddy Argyle. Oh, and one last weapon: the colossal stupidity of basically everybody else in the program. As noted, the Black Scorpion TV series hit screens in 2001. This was the year that the more successful TV show Mutant X also debuted. I don't think the timing of either series was a coincidence. This was the year after X-Men finally broke the superhero hoodoo at the box office, and I suspect people wanted to see if superpowered crime fighters might fill the action TV gap left by the winding up of genre shows like Hercules and Xena. It is certainly very much in keeping for Roger Corman to recycle old ideas and props when he saw an opportunity. This was, after all, the man who used the same Charles B. Griffith script as the outline for at least 3 different movies, who stitched together 40 minutes of leftover footage with some new material to make a film, or who produced The Little Shop of Horrors in 3 days of filming, all on entirely recycled sets. Now, naturally, the 4-year gap since the production of the last film and the shift to TV did necessitate cast changes, the most significant of these being the replacement of Joan Severance as the title character. Donning the scorpion boots for the small screen is Michelle Lintel, whom you've probably never heard of, for the very good reason that she's been in almost nothing else. Lintel is a striking brunette, but as an actor, well, she's not up to the job of making this version of the Black Scorpion watchable, though, mind you, I'm not sure who would be. You may be picking up on the idea that I don't have a very high opinion of this program, and that's because I don't. It is a shoddily written, shoddily produced, bottom-of-the-barrel TV program. And yet I somehow sat through all 22 episodes, even as the show built to finale in which the villain of the show's only 2-part storyline, like the only time we've gone like 2 parts for a storyline, and the villain is a late-night cable TV psychic whose goal is to destroy the city in order to keep his TV show on the air. Does that make any sense? No, it does not. Does much of this show make any sense? No, it does not. So, all of the TV show's most egregious faults lie with its writing, which fails on almost every level of execution. The fact that Darcy's new partner is utterly insufferable, for instance, is not the fault of the actor playing him, but of the ridiculous lines and actions that he's required to deliver by the scripts. But by far the most ubiquitous problem of the writing is repetition. Black Scorpion scripts recycle a lot of the same ideas over and over and over again. For instance, of the first 5 episodes, 4 involve a supervillain whose plan is to build a device that magnifies their powers. All of those villains then commit robberies in order to build said device. They all also go on live TV to announce their plans, as in fact does the one villain who didn't decide to build a machine to magnify their powers. Then there's the show's use of the city mayor. He's responsible for creating or unleashing, sometimes accidentally, sometimes intentionally, more than half the villains and or their nefarious schemes. The mayor did something dodgy, and now there's a supervillain, was the basic through line of Black Scorpion 2 Aftershock, and the TV show goes back to that same well over and over and over again. Repetition is also a problem on the production side. To cut costs, the show reuses footage a lot. The multiple times Black Scorpion is chased by the cops, for instance, all bear an uncanny resemblance to similar scenes from the 2 movies, because that's where they're from. They also bear an uncanny resemblance to each other because the whole point of these sequences is to fill times with footage you already shot rather than spending money on shooting new stuff. Similarly, in the 2-part season finale, footage of a particular fight is used no less than 3 times. a fact that is compounded by the fact that the third instance comes almost directly after the second. We get the fight scene at the end of the first episode, they re-show it to us at the beginning of the second episode, and then just in case we missed it, they basically re-show it to us again. The repetition is irritating. Perhaps more truly maddening is the show's habit of coming up with potentially interesting situations, possibly unintentionally, and then doing absolutely nothing with them, possibly because they never noticed they were there. For instance, the show repeatedly makes the mayor, the city's most senior authority figure, ultimately responsible for the supervillains that plague it. Now that seems like it should become a focus of the program, as the Black Scorpion finally realizes the mayor is bad news and sets out to expose him. This would also justify yet more Black Scorpion versus Cops material, as the mayor could declare the vigilante to be public enemy number one as a response. But the show doesn't seem to even realise there is a story here. It recognises the mayor as a villain and it depicts him as one, but it never has the characters show any awareness of this. Even late in the season, Black Scorpion is still rescuing the mayor from the more obvious bad guys. Similarly, the show creates an interesting situation with the villain Flashpoint. He's a paparazzi who is accidentally blinded during one of Black Scorpion's fights. After undergoing an experimental medical procedure to regain his sight, he loses his sanity and becomes a crazed supervillain who swears revenge on the hero he believes has wronged him. There's at least some opportunity for a more nuanced, complex story here. Flashpoint does have a genuine reason to resent Black Scorpion, after all. The show could try something a bit different here. Instead, it has Flashpoint commit a robbery to build a machine to magnify his power. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing again. And then finally, we have the dismal tale of Darcy's new partner. The show positions him as having a lust-hate relationship with the vigilante Black Scorpion, but no interest in anything more than a platonic friendship with Darcy. And there's potential for fun shenanigans there. That's an interesting setup. You know, he lusts after the woman he shouldn't want, and he's ignoring the woman who's right in front of him. You could do some fun stuff there, but the writers never really do much with it. And then towards the end of the season, they just kind of drop it entirely and say, oh no, he's into Darcy now. It's just lazy. With its love of puns and goofy set pieces, the original Black Scorpion film had some definite echoes of the 60s Batman TV show, and the sequel leaned in heavily on this with its bargain bin Joker knockoff, and the trend continues here. There are lots of punny names like the deadly physical trainer Aerobicide, and the villain's motives and methods are frequently self-consciously quirky and over the top. The casting team get in on the Batman action too. Supervillain Breathtaker, who returns for 5 of the 22 episodes, is now played by none other than Adam West, the one-time caped crusader himself. And then there's the villain Clockwise, who has a thing about time, as you might expect. He appears in only one episode, where he's portrayed by Frank Gorshin, the former Riddler to West's Batman. That single episode is enough to tell us two things. The first is that writer Craig Nevius loves time-based puns, as he has Clockwise deliver approximately 3 of them every minute he's on screen. And the second is that Frank Gorshin is way too good for this show and shows everybody else up. Black Scorpion is poorly written, super cheaply produced, bottom-of-the-barrel TV flotsam. It's really only worth watching if, like me, you're the kind of person who could get wrapped up in imagining what the show could have been if it had ever followed up on its glimmers of possibility, and or if, like me, you're the kind of person to get a strange enjoyment out of watching stupendously clumsy narratives that feature plot points like, I'm a photojournalist whose number one goal is to expose Black Scorpion's true identity, but now that I have her at my mercy, it turns out I don't have a camera on me, so I won't bother removing her mask. I mean, 5 minutes of effort, less than 5 minutes of effort, you should be able to come up with something better than that, but nobody here could be bothered. Next time, in the mid-1990s, Walter Hill decided to make Yojimbo, or remake Yojimbo, as a Prohibition-era gangster movie. The result was Last Man Standing, which I enjoyed, but which would prove to be one of the year's bigger box office bombs. But that's next time. Until then, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've seen the Black Scorpion TV show, well, yeah. Why? And also, let me know what you thought of it.